here are 5 of the most important things I learned at the age of 25. Work hard, rest often. Welcome back. My name is Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial photographer and all-around content creator. I'm also 25, and here are 5 of the most important things that I'm glad I learned now versus years down the line. And these are all mistakes that I made in my early 20s as well. Things that, I kind of had to work through a lot and do a lot of self-reflection and introspection to figure all of these things out. Hopefully this is a way to enlighten you as to these things so you don't have to go through the same trial and error that I did to arrive at this place. And make sure to watch till the end so you get what is arguably the one that would help some people in my life the most. If you're trying to do something, if you're trying to build something, whether it be a business, content creation, if you're trying to pursue a particular path, people will give you a lot of advice. People will give you a lot of unsolicited advice. Everyone around you will. Your parents, your extended family, your friends, your coworkers, borderline random people on the street, everyone will give you their opinion. Sometimes all those opinions will become overwhelming and you feel like one will contradict the other and you just won't know what to do and you'll become paralyzed and you won't do anything. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is look at the people who are telling you this. Where is that advice coming from and what is influencing that? At the end of the day, you shouldn't be listening to advice from people who haven't done the thing that you're trying to do. If you're trying to build a business, don't take advice from somebody who hasn't built a business before. If you're trying to start a YouTube channel or start content creating, don't take advice from people who haven't done that thing that you're trying to do. If you're trying to become a TikTok creator and your friends are like, oh, you just got to do trends, you just got to do trends, but they've never had a viral video, that opinion is just what they've formed based on what everyone else sees. That's when you'll get people being like, oh, the market is too oversaturated, nobody needs that, there's too much competition already. And sure, it might be a saturated market, but that means the demand is there. And can you do something different that'll disrupt that? I find a lot of people have limiting beliefs that they'll try to push on you. So it's like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that thing, or I would be uncomfortable doing that thing, and I'm going to push my insecurities on you, and then that's more likely to make you not do the thing and keep you in the place that you are, which is where I know you to be, because if you level up, you'll be beyond where I'm at, and that makes me feel bad about myself. And it's something that I see so often. When you're around the holiday season, all your extended family is going to be giving you their opinions on everything, whether you want them to or not. And just see who's giving you that advice. See where that's coming from and whether or not it's valid and you should even be listening to it in the first place. Because usually the people who talk the most have the least to say. The people who actually are quiet and do the thing, those are the people that if they have something to say, they'll say it. But until then, they don't speak. Which brings me to my next point of don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Ergo, ask the stupid questions and wait for somebody else to speak up and then form your opinions from there. Don't always be the first one to talk, because sometimes allowing space for everyone else will actually inform you more and will actually allow you to learn more. Sometimes if you think you're so smart and you need to prove to everyone that you're the smartest person in the room, you actually end up being the dumbest person because you haven't learned anything. The person who takes in all the information and waits till the end to give their opinion, well, their opinion is going to be valued higher because they waited and because they took in everyone else's opinions to then add to their own and gain everyone's perspective. But also, you might end up learning things that you didn't know before. And if you're just giving out everything off the bat, suddenly everyone's gonna know exactly where you're at. Where if you take everything in and you're a little quieter, and then you give people more than what they're expecting, well then that will shock them. Also, a lot of times you'll ask the stupid question that everyone else is too afraid to ask. So in meetings, in whatever you're in, if you're the one who will ask the stupid question, usually everyone else in that room has that question, but they're too afraid to ask it. And you might look like the idiot, but you're the one that ends up getting that problem solved. So who's really smarter in the end? As I was watching this back, I remembered a story from when I was about grade 6 or so. Also, yeah, I got a haircut. And it seemed oddly fitting for right now because at the time I asked a question. We had an assignment or something, and I asked a question that the teacher even laughed off because it was kind of obvious, or it was what you would consider a stupid question. And I remember I walked up to her and asked it. I didn't raise my hand or anything, and she told the class what my question was. And as I sat down, one person who like sat across from me or whatever kind of laughed and shook their head and went, "So stupid." And then, not 10 minutes later, she put her hand up and asked the same question. After she just called me stupid for asking a question that evidently more than just me in the class had. And I still remember that to this day. So yeah, maybe I'm still a little salty about it. It just goes to show you that asking the dumb question can actually give you answers that other people are looking for anyways, but aren't willing to ask. Or maybe they'll think less of you for it, but you get more clarity. You actually have the answer from it. And that brings me to number 3, which is become comfortable in the uncomfortable. Situations that make you uncomfortable are opportunities to grow, or opportunities to expand your comfort zone, because your comfort zone expands the more you go outside of it. And if you stay comfortable, you're only going to be in what you've ever only known. So then you're not going to be growing, you're not going to be learning, and you'll stay the same. This is how people end up staying in the same town their whole life, doing the same things, and they don't grow at all, and they peak in high school. And chances are, if you're watching this video, that's not you. Put yourself outside of your comfort zone. You know, it can be little ways, it can be big ways. If there's something you want to do, especially if it's something you want to do that makes you uncomfortable, you know, you get a little bit of anxiety about doing it, but you feel like you should go towards it. Those are the most important things to do. And if you're too scared to do it anyway, and do it afraid. Because that will make you more confident, and it'll expand that comfort zone of yours. And then you'll start doing more things, putting yourself out there more, and you'll grow more as a person. And your whole life will end up changing as a result. I love the phrase, be afraid, do it anyway. And I've started to live my life off of that, and it has changed my life in more ways than I can imagine, and I think it'll do the same for you. Which leads me to another one, but that one we're going to save to the end. So number 4 on the list is that your health is your wealth. And it's something that, you know, I've always been an active person. I've always tried to be physically fit and somewhat healthy, but in the past couple years, I've really started taking this more seriously. I've cut out a lot of junk food in my life. I've started eating healthier. I've started working out regularly and really putting my body and my mind first. And the thing is, I've realized the more that I do that, the more that I put my body first, the more that my mind improves. I have clearer focus. I have more energy to do the things that I want to do, and I don't get so bogged down all the time. I don't get distracted as easy. It doesn't stop there. Doing things like yoga, I try to do this every morning, and then I end up feeling about 5 years younger every time. If you wake up and your back starts hurting, you have a headache, if you're all tight, chances are that will actually lead you to being injured down the road. But if you actually emphasize being mobile and your mobility, you will be able to have a longer and healthier life because of that. You know, eating healthier, my skin is clearer, I feel better, and I can show up more authentically for the people in my life, which is huge. Now, number 5, the one that I think so many people in today's society are afraid of, and that's failure. It starts with when we're growing up in school, taught that an F is a fail and you don't get a redo, you don't get to learn from it, you just fail. There's the whole idea of getting good grades to go to a good school, to get a good job, to have a good life. And if you fail, suddenly you're not going to get good grades, you're not going to go to a good school, you're not going to have a good job, and you're not going to have a good life. And that is not the case. The most successful people learn from failure, and they fail often. I like to think that I make mistakes every single day, but I try not to make the same mistake twice. I try to learn, pivot, fail again, pivot until I eventually get some success going, and then I'll take that and go on to the next thing. And if I fail a little bit, adjust and keep adjusting, and eventually, if you try 100 times, you'll learn 100 times more than the person who tried once and failed. You know, it's the good old, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you're afraid of failure and you don't do the thing, then you've already said no for the other person, and you're not going to have a chance to learn. You're not going to have a chance to do the thing because you stopped borderline before you even get started. So fail often, fail hard, and learn from it, and you will become more successful in no time. I promise you. That is just a little bit of what maybe could be considered wisdom from just a 25-year-old sitting, talking to a camera who maybe has no idea of how life works, but that's okay because this is how I've managed to live my life the way that I have, and I'm proud of that. So hopefully these will help you, especially if you're trying to figure out life and how to navigate this wild, wild world that we live in. And the more that I learn, the more I'll share with all of you. And let me know some of the different life lessons you've learned in the comments down below. Subscribe for more mindfulness, mindset, and everything creative. Remember to work hard, rest often, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.